Booger McFarland, who is an NFL analyst up at ESPN, does great work, former first-round pick coming out of LSU, is about to become back on his Wednesday regular rotation, which is always presented by Central Plumbing Company, but kind enough to give us an August Wednesday to talk a little NFL is Boog. Good morning, big fella. How are you?
So this will be considered like a free appearance? Is that what we're going with?
Yes, I know those checks never stop coming in the mail, so free is debatable.
You are doing this just because you like me so much. That's right?
I love it. Let's go with that one, T-Bob.
Oh, there we go. I needed that today.
So you're a good reference for this. You were the honorable captain for the national championship game, and some reports are coming out that some of the NCAA findings on Odell following the game has come out. There's reports that LSU may disassociate themselves with Beckham over the next 2 years. That is a sticky line for LSU football because of how much he means in the recruiting world. As somebody who cares about the program, knows Odell, knows a lot of people in the inner workings of LSU football, how do they handle this thing?
Well, I think publicly you got to handle it the right way. If that means you have to, quote-unquote, disassociate yourself, then that's fine. I think privately, there's probably going to be a couple secret meetings, maybe some phone calls behind the scenes, and, there won't be much disassociation, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
But publicly, you got to do what's right. You got to come out. You got to make the right statements. You got to, say the right things because really that's all that matters. Now, we all know that there are under-the-table deals and backdoor deals and all that. I think we all know that Odell Beckham Jr. is always going to be an LSU Tiger. It's kind of like Reggie Bush's Heisman. Well, we took back Reggie Bush's Heisman. Well, he still won the damn Heisman. Like, you can take it back, but he still won the Heisman. So you can disassociate yourself with Odell, but Odell is still going to be a Tiger regardless of what they say. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just something from a public standpoint that in this country we like to have, or we like to put on public fronts and shows to make certain people happy.
Well said.
Talking to Booger McFarland here. Boog, okay, let's talk NFL because I am getting so excited, man. We are 2.5 weeks out from watching Brady and Breeze do battle with some excellent offensive weapons.
He'd be good on the Saints-Bucks
That's
weapons
what I'm saying, dude. Okay. Well, we'll get there, but I just want to start here. You're Tampa. What is the local? What's the hype around Brady right now? Because everything that I'm reading just sounds like these receivers, these young tight ends, just everybody is in awe of how good he is and how good he could make them.
Well, T-Bob, it's kind of like the first time you saw me. You were like, is that dude a defensive lineman? Like, I mean, that dude is that big and that fast? Like, you were just in awe of me. And it's kind of, man, like, all these guys have played with Jameis Winston, and Jameis Winston made Mike Evans a lot of money. He's made Chris Godwin a lot of money. And so those guys understand, and they are grateful for what Jameis Winston did. But Tom Brady is on a different level, man. Tom Brady is a guy who's regarded as the greatest of all time. So I think the excitement level, based on the players, based on the coaches, based on the city, is that we have the greatest quarterback of all time with, depends on where you want to rank our offensive weapons in Tampa. I mean, top 5 offensive weapons, top 10.
Well, Boog, let me jump in here. We debated yesterday, and I want your opinion on this. You can fold it into this answer. Who has the better weapons between the Saints and the Bucs? Because both seem to have very good ones.
Okay. I mean, let's just break it down. Like, if you were to say the Saints' weapons are Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, Drew Brees. Let's just go with
Jared
that.
Cook.
Okay, Jared Cook. And you compare that with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who both receivers had 1,000, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Braid, O.J. Howard. I got to believe you could flip a coin if you're a coach and you said, I'll take either one, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, depending on where you want to put them, top 5, top 10, doesn't matter. Like, these are some of the best weapons that Brady's ever had. So, you understand where the excitement level is. Now, with all that being said, do I expect him to come out the gate and be 5-0, 6-0? No. I expect a 4-2, 3-3 start, and then coming down the last 10 games of the season, they're going to be tough to beat, man.
And then what about, I know, right? I think about guys like Mike Evans and Godwin. I'm like, they were already so good. How good can they now be? But what about Gronk? More of a known commodity, but coming off of a year of football. I mean, you played football in the league forever, Boog. You understand what it takes year in and year out. And what kind of form can he be in after taking that year off and now coming back?
So as an offensive and defensive lineman, I think it would be tough for us to take a year off just because of how we play, the constant physical contact, always getting double teamed or double teaming someone. For a receiver or a tight end, like it's really about athletic ability and your ability to catch the ball, like your hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Even though Gronk is a really good blocker, he's not blocking every play. So I got to think that Gronkowski, with the year off, his body's going to feel better. As long as he can still run, which based on the video that I looked at, he's still running well. He still looks athletic. He's probably going to play better this year from a receiving standpoint. Now, his blocking may suffer, but, look for Gronkowski to be held coming across the middle starting week 1 because he feels better. He's running. It's kind of like when you lost 40 pounds, T-Bob. You were able to walk from the big room to the kitchen a lot faster.
Well,
just think about Gronk being able to move around. He's going to be able to move around. He's going to feel a lot better.
Well, I mean, I could look down and see it again. I mean, that was such a great feeling. It had been so long. I was like, what's up, old buddy?
That's way too much information. I don't know what you were seeing, but hopefully you'll never talk about it again.
I mean, Warren Sapp could always move, but I always wondered if he could see it. Now, Bug, something else that's going to be different. No fans for that Brady Breeze matchup in the Superdome, which we can sit here and be bummed about, but I'm not, whatever. I just want football. My question to you is, you're a defensive guy, okay? How are you going to get those juices? Like, if you're Cam Jordan, DeMario Davis, how are you going to get your juices going for a silent dome against Brady?
You remember that game where the Buccaneers played the Saints in Tiger Stadium several years ago?
Yes.
You remember that game?
Yes.
I played in that game. Very, very few fans in the stadium.
Yes.
And, what you had to do was you had to get your own stuff going based on, hey, you're a professional. It's your job. They're paying you a lot of money to go out there and make plays. And so from a professional football standpoint, I think it's going to be really easy for these guys to get motivated. Like, these guys are pros. We're grown men. It's not like you got a marching band that's going to be, leading you onto the field. Like, we just show up, clock in, and we're ready to go. Now, the fans do help. I think you're going to see a bigger difference in college football with no fans because 17, 18-year-old kids are so hell-bent by emotion and the band and, the student section. So I think college football is going to be affected a lot more than pro football. Pro football, hey, man, you know what I'm going to do? Right before I go out for the coin toss, I'm going to pull out my phone, take a look at Bank of America, and be like, yep,
let's go. Booger McFarland from ESPN joining us here, brought to you by Central Plumbing Company every week here on Off the Bench. Remember, Boog is NFL analyst up at ESPN. Boog, I'm watching Hard Knocks right now, and I haven't paid a lot of attention, I guess just because I'm so dialed into this part of the country, but to the Los Angeles Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn, he is an ass kicker.
Yes.
What do you anticipate from Lynn and the Chargers this year? I know that they're turning over that roster and Phillip Rivers is out the door. But one thing that has been highlighted in watching that week in, week out is that Lynn is an excellent football coach.
Yeah, think about that from the perspective that he was a former running back. He got a job. He had a veteran quarterback, and he was given an opportunity to get rid of Phillip Rivers, draft a young quarterback in Justin Herbert. I think Tyrod Taylor's going to start, but Justin Herbert will eventually be the quarterback later on. And, Anthony Lynn, to me, is just what a football coach is supposed to be. Like, he doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care how much money you make.
Yep.
His job is to get the team to play at the highest level. Like, that's what a football coach is supposed to be. And having been around him, he's the same way off the field. Like, he's very direct, very straightforward. He's kind of like the black version of Coach O. Like, he's very straightforward, very direct. He's a football guy. Yes, that's a great compliment, by the way. Like, he's a football guy, loves football, and what he says is what he means, and I think that's what you want as a player.
It's very well said, because you can tell by the people in the organization that everybody, from whether you're a low level employee in the equipment room to the general manager, everybody's got respect for him. And if you walk into LSU's football facility, that's the same way. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are on the pay scale. Everybody feels that way about the head coach.
Well, and he's treating everybody the same. It's like the second episode where he's talking to the undrafted free agent running back, and he's on his ass like, look, man, you got some exercise. Why are you overweight? Like, what were you doing? Why are you overweight? It's just, I've come away very impressed with him. Sean McVay's got a very quirky personality, right? He's just like, energy. What's your thoughts, Boog, on the Rams this year? You go from the Super Bowl to missing the playoffs, and that's something that happens more often than we think. Do they bounce back this season in a very tough NFC West?
Nothing says a weekly Boog segment here like phone issues.
All right, I think it's probably time.
Is he there? Come on back.
But
Yes. First cell phone mishap of the season.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going through a bad area. I apologize.
It feels good, dude. It
does.
almost feels like a comfort zone at
Takes you
this
back.
point. Okay, so so the Rams make the Super Bowl, then they miss the playoffs. That happens a lot. Where are they going to be
T-Bob,
this year?
I heard the question.
Okay,
T-Bob,
perfect.
I'll start with the question again. I heard it already, all right?
All right, go for it.
Okay, Jared Goff. It just depends on what you're going to get from Jared Goff. Okay, Sean McVay has got to take the handcuffs off of Jared Goff. Like, take the pacifier out of his mouth. Stop trying to talk to him until the play clock shuts down at 15 seconds, and allow Jared Goff to be a $34 million quarterback. If they do that, then the Rams have an opportunity. But what's happened over the last year or so is Jared Goff has been coddled. Sean has whispered in his ear, it's going to be okay, Jared, I got you. Here's what the defense is doing. And meanwhile, you're paying him $34 million. Like, allow him to be a franchise quarterback so they can have a good season. But Jared Goff is going to have to take that next step where you can win games because of Jared Goff, not trying to win games around Jared Goff.
Carol Baskin's neighbor, our NFL insider, Booger McFarland Weekly here, brought to you by Central Plumbing Company. Have a good day. Hit him straight. Thank you.
Well, first of all, never ever refer to me as Carol Baskin's neighbor.
Is that true?
I would appreciate
2 blocks over.
if you refer to me as T-Bob's muse rather than Carol Baskin's neighbor.
Actually, and Boog, have you seen the memes? You kind of look like Zion when he's older. Have you seen these floating around the internet?
T-Bob, the internet is undefeated. I've seen memes of you where you had a six-pack. Do I believe it? No.
Later, man.
Later.
Close that hour one next.